Hey there, I'm Taz Singh, and I've been working with communities for as long as I can remember. Fundamentally, communities are made up of people, so this is my journey going to those communities and talking to those people. Come along with me. Amazing. So I'm back here with David Khourshid, and so I met David back in Finland, and so we were doing a comedy show back there, and we wanted to get, I think Tejas Kumar wanted to do like the Babel song, and we had like kind of music lined up and everything for him, but then David was there, and so David plays the piano, and your Twitter name is David K Piano.
Right. Yeah.
And so you play the piano, and so we said, hey David, like are you able to play the piano for this? David kindly hopped on. I'm not even sure if you had music or something. I think you just knew the song.
No, yeah, I just knew the song. So, or I heard the chords. Chords are simple. Jam along.
Yeah, like this guy's always so humble. It's always so difficult kind of getting things out of him because like there's no way in hell I could have done that. But like again, he just finds it simple. But I know David because David built this piece of technology called X-State. He's been very involved with kind of state machines for a very long time, and I think you're like one of the few people to make state machines easy and make state machines approachable. Like for me personally, I've seen a lot of people try to build state machine libraries and kind of tell people about the values of state machines, but I haven't seen a lot of people make it easy and approachable as you have. So like essentially, what's your trick? Like how did you get there with X-State?
Well, I think the thing that I did was sort of approach it in a real world, solve a problem type of way, because usually the way that people learn state machines is actually through university, if they learn them at all, right? They'll learn about finite automata and like parsing Booleans and just things like that, where there's no obvious connection between state machines in that context and state machines in applications. So then I realized that, okay, all of these like user flows and multi-step forms and whatever, they could be expressed with these boxes and arrows. Like you you're in this state, you follow the arrow, now you're in that state. And so I'm like, okay, I love this visual idea. I'm a visual learner. So, like adding diagrams to code, it just makes things a lot easier. So I'm like, hey, let's try to teach this and digest it in a way so that other devs could easily apply it to their applications
so,
as well.
like, if I'm not mistaken, I think X-State has that visual component to it.
It does, yeah.
Right. And so that was kind of formative, and that kind of helped people understand and basically digest those state machines a bit easier.
Right, yeah. I feel like if we didn't have that people would not adopt X-State. They would be like, this seems like Redux with more rules, like with more boilerplate. Like, why would I use this?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And so, if you're familiar with the state machine, it does help you kind of understand, the various states of your app. Like that's a no-brainer. But I think critically, it helps you understand which states you haven't accommodated. Right? Like all potential states, and which states you have accommodated, which states you haven't accommodated. And I feel like oftentimes those states that you haven't accommodated are the source of bugs. And so being able to express that easily and also visualize it easily is fundamental to software development. And so that's super cool. So if I'm not mistaken, you've since gone on to kind of start a company around this.
Yeah. So about a year ago, we started Stately, and so the idea was we wanted to create a software platform for application logic, workflows, etc. So basically being like GitLab or Figma for just app logic in general, like this place where you could organize these workflows, use them in your code, generate documentation, generate tests, and have these living diagrams that are executed with your code.
Really? Like you can generate tests as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What?
And I actually gave a talk about that like a few years ago. It's stop writing tests. That was basically my talk title. And people are like, wait, why would I stop writing tests? The idea is that you auto-generate them instead. If you have a state machine, which you could think of as like a big-ass flowchart where it describes your entire app, you could just have algorithms like traverse each of the possible paths and figure out, okay, here's the hundreds of paths that describe my app. and from each of those, you could have tests.
He just, you see what I mean? He's too humble. You know what I mean? He's doing all this crazy stuff, like auto-generating tests and documentation. Like tests and documentation in my head go, like they kind of go hand in hand, which tests often serve as documentation. But being able to auto-generate tests based off the flowchart of your state machine to kind of help determine application logic very directly, because it's very directly a test for it.
Yeah.
That's insane. So like Stately does that too?
Stately is going to do that, and
it's going to do that.
We seriously have a backlog of like 5 to 10 years worth of just huge product ideas that we have.
Yeah. So like Stately today is what then?
Stately today is a bunch of things. We have a visualizer, we have a registry where you could store and save machines. We have a visual editor that allows you to create machines. So people who have been using XState, it takes a few minutes to create a state machine, but with the editor, it's seconds. You double click, drag a line, double click again, you can make a state machine really quickly.
And does that create an XState state machine, or does that create any state machine?
Right now it outports to something where you could paste it in directly to XState, but because the representation is just JSON, we could literally just have this, compiled to GitHub Actions or to any other sort of format that sort of understands these directed graphs.
Wow, that's amazing. And as David said, in the future, like right now, this is where they're starting from. They're going to be adding more features in the future. One of them being auto-generated tests, which just blew my mind. I was talking to David, I think yesterday about this, and I said like, hey, like essentially, like that sounds cool. Like like this whole state machine flowchart thing sounds cool to me. But what's the actionable outcome? Like, why would I use it? Like, what would be the meaningful thing to me, like kind of like aha moment for me to say, yes, I'm going to use this. And I think auto-generated tests for me is kind of one of those big parts where, of course, just another layer of testing, another layer of quality assurance to make sure that you're accommodating, or basically not accommodating, essentially certain paths is important. So yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, well, we essentially have 3 goals, like 3 major goals, which are value propositions for why you would use our software. The first one is just ship code faster. Like, that's immediate business value. If you could get something shipped like 2 sprints early, like that's huge.
Yeah.
The second is ship with fewer bugs. You have these auto-generated tests. You have state machines, which naturally prevents invalid states and transitions and things like that. You could ship safer code faster. And the third one is collaboration with your entire team. So no more throwing, over the wall, like trying to talk with your designers and product managers and developers, having them all speak different languages. Now you have this one thing that you could all look at and understand.
Because at the end of the day, that is what's powering the application logic directly. Right. And so it's all you have to like hop into like a component or hop into like some sort of Redux reducer thing and try to like dissect what's going on so that your full applications like flow. You can just look at this diagram, and that diagram is literally what's powering your application as well. And so you kind of you kind of feed like 3 birds with one scone. It's basically a polite way of saying
that's how I say it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing, dude. So is this available to use today, or?
Yeah, so our tools that we mentioned, the visualizer, the registry, and the editor, are available in public beta today at stately.ai.
Stately.ai. Okay, cool. A nice AI. I wasn't sure if it was state.ly.
Nope.
Stately.ai.
I didn't get stately.ly. Someone else has it for some reason, but the AI part is going to be important in a few years. And that's a part of a whole other discussion, because traditionally AI was state machines. Like, you could use state machines to describe artificial intelligence
100%.
and in the future.
100%.
I'll talk about that later.
Essentially, like for me, I dropped out of cognitive science, and so in cognition, a big part of building AI, a big part of understanding how people work, how brains work, is basically being able to map every given input to every given output. And if you can map every given input to every given output for every input and for every output, you've essentially created AI. And as David said, being able to map those inputs to outputs in a nice visual manner with a state machine is kind of intrinsic. It's fundamentally what you do.
Exactly.
And so kind of essentially either doing it heuristically or being able to do it through some sort of neural net to kind of connect those inputs to outputs. At the end of the day, you're connecting inputs with outputs. And so that's super cool. But yeah, we talked a lot about state. We talked about a lot about XState. Tell me more about this whole piano thing, because I mean, I met you over a piano, really. Like I remember we were there in Finland, and we were like, oh, David, happens here? Like there's a piano here, and so we just literally gave this guy a piano, and he started like performing like all of this like amazing music, and I'm just like, what? Like this guy's a natural at it. So like how does that work for you?
Yeah, so I actually studied piano in university. I played since I was around 5 or 6 years old.
Oh wow!
And yeah, that was just my passion, like doing it through university. But I realized it doesn't really make as much money as being a developer.
Yeah.
I was also interested in computers, so I took a couple computer science classes, got interested in doing development, and yeah, went from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, like he's just a natural at it. I was just like, what? Like, how are you so good at this? But what? Like I think you also snowboard.
Yeah, I'm a beginner. Still.
You're a beginner, so
Yeah.
you aren't quite as good at piano.
No.
But
It's something I love doing.
Like if we made a state machine for snowboarding, then maybe it'll work out.
It frequently transitions to the fallen state. That's what happens.
Well, at least it counts for the falling state.
Yeah, it does.
So I tried out. So like Kent has his one wheel here, and I tried out his one wheel like yesterday, and I think I almost killed Kent.
Oh, those are harder than it looks.
That was really hard because like you got to like stand on it and I jumped off of it, and then the one wheel went like kind of straight for Kent C. Dodds, and so I almost killed Kent C. Dodds. And so
that would've been bad.
that was my primary experience with like two legs like in a line going in one direction, and for me, if snowboarding is anything like that,
It's basically like that.
it's basically like that. Like that. Yeah. Like, I don't think I'd be snowboarding anytime soon. I think I'm
Right.
gonna stick to skiing
Skiing safe.
and skating. You know, like it's 2 feet doing what 2 feet do well
Exactly.
individually. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But like what? Like, do you also ski or do you skate or anything?
No,
You
I just
literally
snowboard. I skated in the past, but or like skateboarded.
Yeah. So
easily
like it's
transitions.
kind of like the snow version of that.
Yeah, and living in Florida, you know, people tend to surf here, so I surf too sometimes.
Yeah. Because like essentially you're just living essentially in Orlando, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here in Orlando.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. Good talking with you, David. Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, you as
too
well.
bad. Too bad we don't have a piano this time because I'd love to see
No.
you play once again. But
Yeah.
the next time we have a piano and we have a David, you certainly know we're getting some good content. So anyway, pleasure as always, and good to hear about Stately. Like that's so cool. I had no idea you guys are doing those types of things, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out actually because I mean,
Awesome.
if this is a path towards like in my head, I'm still kind of fixated on basically auto-generated tests, but I kind of want to see it for myself now because I think that's super cool. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'll see you later, buddy.
All right, see you.
See you.